Hey, Fun Rich Mamas, it's Mitch here, and I am coming back with part 2 of Life Lessons Learned at the Guinness Beer Factory tour. And today, it's a twofer. You're getting 2 for the price of 1. So who doesn't like a little extra something on the side? That's right. So let's start off with the first part of today's lesson, and that is infrastructure. So when good old Arthur Guinness decided that he was going to make a household beer that was going to reach worldwide, it wasn't like back in the 1700s, he's like, I got to have a space. The outhouse. Honey, we're using chamber pots now because the outhouse is the brewing manufactory of the world. Right? Wasn't going to happen. So he signed that 9,000-year lease that gave him this factory that to this day has expanded to 50 acres worth of property and buildings with all of the equipment inside that it takes to process this beer and then to distribute it around the world. You got to have a solid infrastructure. So how does that relate to us in our mom busy lives, right? It's not like I want to pick up an extra 50 acres on my hips here or anything, right? They're already carrying enough. No, infrastructure comes down to what you've got going on in the inside. And we can control that by being in constant student mode. When was the last time that you picked up a book or listened to an audio that was pouring into yourself, that was giving you knowledge on how your mind works, on how relationships work, on how to be better at whatever it is that your job is, where you're learning, you're in student mode and you're in development and you're creating a stronger infrastructure, right? I mean, there's no problem with reading the fluffy books or the CIA thrillers or the romance or the comedies or the tearjerkers. I mean, I do those too. You got to have some of that in your life. And you need to make sure that you're always pouring into yourself, because most people, once they graduate high school or college, that's probably the last time that they ever spent investing in themselves. And again, if we're not investing in ourselves and creating a strong foundation to walk and live out of, that vision is a little harder to attain because our brains believe what the world is throwing at us, because that's the message we're getting more, right? Whatever the advertisers or the stores or your peer group and community or that person down the street who doesn't ever shut up, me, right? Whatever it is that they're yelling out really loud all the time is the thing that's going into your brain, and that's the thing that you're going to start spouting out because you hear it the most. So always be working on your infrastructure so that when you go through your day, you're walking in confidence, knowing who you are, knowing what you're about, and knowing what you want to accomplish. So infrastructure number 1. And that second part, the little extra on the side, a little extra hot fudge if you don't mind, is the processes in place to brew all of that beer, right? So again, how do processes relate to us? It sounds kind of rigid and boring, like no one wants rigid and boring in their day. But what processes actually allow us to do is have more flexibility in our life. So what do processes look like for us? Well, it could be as simple as writing down the things that you want to accomplish the next day, the night before. Before all of the chaos breaks out and you have kids yelling at you and dogs barking and alarms clock going off and people needing you and phones ringing and textings, find the quiet space and just a few minutes of your time the day before to really think and writing down, oh my gosh, you guys, life changer, write it down, what it is that you need to get done that next day. What are the things that are urgent? What are the things that are important? And what are the things that would just be nice? And you know what the structure of your day is, so you can go through and figure out, okay, these are the things that absolutely have to be done. These are the times that I know that I can do it. So now you have a plan in place. And when the chaos of that next day ensues, you have some structure, and it's easier to put, someone's urgent situation that maybe really isn't that urgent, and give yourself the space and the boundaries to go and do what it is that you need to do while they can learn to wait just a little bit, right? So that's one way. Another process that you can use is having gratitude and tracking it. So how is that a process exactly? Well, when you're grateful for things, you get more of that in your life. And sometimes we might just, it's easy to go through and be like, oh, that was really cool. I'm grateful for that. But you don't really take note of it. And you don't start to notice that the more you're grateful for it, the more it kind of comes at you. And when you start to track it, you can also see, oh, what are some of the areas that I could use more gratitude in and that I would like more increase in my life? So having gratitude and tracking it, it also puts your brain in a totally different space and has that extra creativity, like we talked about last week, changing you into a different person that takes different actions. to accomplish that vision that may seem far off, but now your brain is working on it, okay? And then the third thing is creating rituals or empowering habits that help you get through your day. So here's an example. Andrew, my husband, gets up at 5:15 when he goes to work, right? And I'm work from home, stay-at-home mom. 5:15, that's early. Like, who wants to do that if you don't have to? So he's a big boy, he can get himself off. He used to just sleep. And I realized that I wasn't giving myself the time that I needed in my day to accomplish the things that I wanted, because I would just kind of get lost in, oh, everyone's up now, and just get rolling with whatever was happening. So I attached myself to his wake up time by creating a habit for me to do. I started making his lunch and breakfast, packing it up so that he had it to go off. And it wasn't something that he was like, listen here, little woman, you need to do this. This was something that I chose to do because I knew it would get me up. And I also loved the fact that as a bonus on the side, it was a way for me to show appreciation to him and a little honor for him, so that when he walked off feeling kind of good about himself, like, hey, that's pretty cool. And then he returns that back to me. So isn't that a great way to start off your relationship, right? In the day, in the morning, on a positive note. And now I'm already up, so guess what I do? I get my reading in. I sit down and I take my time and I do my reading that's working on my infrastructure, right? And then from there, I go and I work out, because that always puts me in a good mood. I love it. It raises my endorphins and it just gets me set and ready to go for the day. Versus if I stay in bed a little longer, usually there's a kid that ends up coming in, and then we snuggle and it just feels so good, and we just sleep in, and then we get up and I don't work out because they're already up. And who knows about reading, right? I got things to do, breakfast to make, and I got other work that I need to get done. So for me, creating that ritual around making his breakfast and lunch helped me to get up earlier and get those things accomplished and out of the way. So I had the space to get that list that I made the night before and really go after it, and still have free time in the day where I can read that fun little sexy novel, right? And get some of that fun time in. So those are some of the processes that you can use. That is it for part 2. Like I said, this is a 5-story building. There's a lot of lessons coming at you. I'll be coming back with part 3. And in the meanwhile, if you didn't find out last time, I do have a free gift for you, because I love to throw value at you however I can help you out. And this one is a 7-day self-care challenge for overwhelmed moms, right? Because who couldn't use a little self-care? Print this puppy out and show it like it's homework to your kids. They'll get that. I have to do it. You have to give me space today. It says so, right? So you can get that by either emailing me your email address to hello@funrichlife.com, or you can DM me on Facebook group. And also, if you have any mamas that you know could use some of this information to help out their life, or they could use the challenge, send this video their way. We love shares. And comment, drop me a comment, let me know how it is that you are working on your infrastructure, or what processes work out great for you, because someone else is gonna read that and they're gonna say, hey, I can use that too. Man, when we band our brains together, great things happen. In the meanwhile, I hope you are having a great day, and go make it a fun, rich life.